The people who end up building things, I think all have one thing in common. And that is when the shot is there, they take it and they don't hesitate. And that is not everybody. You meet people who have this great ideas, but you see the hesitancy and the risk. And I will always say to them, look, from what I'm hearing, you don't sound like you're willing to take the risk. And if you're not willing to take the risk, you will never accomplish this. Listening to your customers and taking the shot are the two things that I think are absolutely critical.
Welcome and thank you for joining us for today's episode of Disruptors, where millionaires are made. Today we have Jordan Fleming with Smrtphone, and Jordan flew in from Poland to talk about how he took one idea to $10 million in annual recurring revenue. Now, guys, I am on a mission to create 100 millionaires. The information on the show alone isn't enough to help you become a millionaire in the next 5 to 7 years. If you'll take consistent action, you will become one. And guys, if you're already a millionaire, we want to recognize you here. So make sure you scan that QR code on your screen right now so that we can highlight you here on this show. And if you're not quite there yet and you want some help, scan that QR code and we can also help you get there just a little bit faster. Now, before we jump in, if you're here to learn how real entrepreneurs are building real empires, hit that subscribe button because every week we're dropping lessons that can help you create your first or your next million. And our AI Lead Manager is now up and running. If you want to hear what our AI Lead Manager sounds like, text AI Caller to the phone number 33777. That's AI Caller 33777. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So I'm super excited to have you here. I think we've been kind of talking about this for a while, but I've been using your product for about 7 years, right? So I want to find out, how this journey began. So talk to me about what was your life like before you decided to get into this software business?
So the change from software, like from what I was doing before to software, was probably the biggest change in my life.
Yeah.
Because before that, so I've never worked for anybody. I worked in high school. I always had a job, high school and all that. But once I became an adult, I didn't work for anyone. I've always had my own business. And I started out as a marketing, I built a consultancy that kind of did sales and marketing, change management. I had absolutely zero credibility or experience, but I made it work. And so I guess I was good because I kept getting more clients and doing it better. But a consultancy is feast or famine so much of the time, right? It's time. It's you're selling your time. And scaling a business like that where you're selling your time, that's really hard because you then have this first of all, everybody wants your time. They don't want the people I hire. They want my time. Well, there's only so much of that I have. And and also just when you're selling time, you're always limited. You're always limited. And then about 8 years ago-ish, I had been working on a new project. And I was building a system, a call center for someone using Podio, which you must have been using at the time.
Yes.
And I was trying to integrate and find a way of integrating a call center software with Podio. And it just wasn't working. And at the same time, I met my co-founders and they were very technical. And I had this sort of sales and marketing. We should do something together. And I said, I got this idea for
before you do
system.
before you talk about the idea, what was the problem that you were trying to solve? Talk to me about the frustrations you were experiencing.
Well, so it goes to the core of what Smrtphone is actually, in the sense of Smrtphone's real purpose is to make the CRMs we connect to fly. Because when you connect your phone system with your data, your people, build your leads, and everything's seamless, that's when power happens from a sales point of view. That was the problem I was trying to solve. I was trying to integrate a call center phone with this call center structure I'd built, and it just wasn't working. And
so you built out a Podio CRM for them. So you hire you as a consultant. You came in and you built out a system built off of Podio. So they weren't using Podio yet, or they were, and you fixed it for them.
No, they weren't using Podio yet. But their specific needs, Podio is perfect for.
Yeah.
So we built it in Podio.
So you built it out, but they were doing massive call volume. What was?
They were doing massive call volume, but what they were doing is a blended inbound outbound. And they really needed on that inbound to see the details of the history and the company information. And that's where the structure I built in Podio with all the information and all the products they were selling and everything, it worked beautifully if you could get the phone element to work quick enough and seamlessly enough.
hmm
And so we solved that one part, but the second part of the problem, which was connecting real time the phone,
hmm
I couldn't solve. I tried to solve it with AirCall, which was new at the time,
hmm
and webhooks, and I just couldn't solve it. And
Right.
and that's what made me go, be like, I got this idea.
hmm
And literally 3 months later, we soft
Right.
launched it.
Again, with no software experience.
They had software
So they had
experience
software experience.
well, they had programming experience. They never had a product
hmm
experience. None of us had ever had a SaaS product,
hmm
but they were technical. They were coding, but none of us had a company like a software company.
And at this point, you weren't really working with real estate clients yet.
I was working with some, yeah, because with Podio at the time it was taking off with real estate, and so there were people. I mean, Investorfuse had just come out, and I guess Joe McCall and I can't remember, Dan Schwartz, I think his name
hmm
was, and then John Whitfield. They brought out Investorfuse, which was the first kind of replicable Podio system.
hmm
And so that became a glut of people interested. And so then for those of us who were working in Podio, you just got more and more leads of people going, hey, can you help me build this? Or can you help me customize this?
Got it. It's funny you mentioned John Whitfield because I'm actually working him right now on the Kara CRM to get our system. I didn't know he's been around for that long.
Oh yeah. John and I started John and I, we only met each other when we integrated Smrtphone with Investorfuse.
Got it.
And as with Carrot as well. But John and I had been around and known each other about each other
Mhm.
for years because of this.
Got it. Okay. So you go there and you set out, here's a problem we're going to solve. It's we're going to make it easier for the contact information to show up when the call comes in. Okay. How hard was that problem to solve?
Um, actually, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that hard. There's two challenges. When you're building a phone system,
hmm
there's a lot of challenges in a phone system,
Yeah.
right? It's real time telecoms.
Mhm.
So there can't be latency. There can't be it has got to be lightning quick.
hmm
There's compliance and telecoms compliance. So there's a lot of challenge on the phone side.
hmm
And then what we did though, because we knew Podio so well, we figured out we built it in a way, and we built it just for Podio. When it started out, Smrtphone was called Smrtphone, the only phone system built for Podio. That's what it was. That's what it said. It was the most accurate sales tag ever. That's exactly what it was built. But because of that, we did things like with Smart Dialer, which is our power dialer, right? We did something that nobody else could do if they were using one of our competitor products,
Mhm.
which was you're already connected your Podio, so you could just go to any app in Podio, grab a whatever section Podio view you wanted of leads, and bring it in and start dialing it within seconds,
Mhm.
and having all those calls logged automatically against those in Podio.
Right.
Any app you could choose. Nobody else could do that.
Mhm.
And that was the thing we found, which was when you really build integration, not just Zapier, not just I can connect this with this and
Mhm.
kind of that, but when you really build your product so that it integrates completely,
Mhm.
that's where the magic is.
Yeah.
And that's why we only integrate with, I think, 11 systems right now.
Mhm.
We don't integrate with thousands by Zapier.
Did you figure that out, or was that something over time?
It was an emerging. It's like so much is luck.
Mhm.
Like so much is it unfurls over time, right? I'd love to say there was a master plan from the very beginning with all of this. No, it evolved.
Well, I asked this question, and this episode might come across as selfish for a lot of people as we're talking about this stuff, because I'm going to be talking about my stuff too. Is that when I rolled out my AI tool, right? Like Stephanie Better's like, "Oh, you got to talk to Jordan." I was like, "Okay." I mean, I'd love to talk to Jordan. I've never met him, but again, client for a long, long time. I would like to meet him. You were able to get me set up in a matter of weeks, and really, it shouldn't have been weeks. It was only weeks because you guys had other initiatives, right? Once a video actually looked at it, it was a matter of hours. So you said, "Hey, a video, go meet, and then we'll knock this out." And to this date, right, I started this project in March of 2025. It is now the end of August. 5 months. You got me set up in a matter of weeks. You're still the only one that integrates with us perfectly. Still. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
No one else integrates with us directly. Everyone else has got resistance. There's a company, I'll just say it, right? Boulder 360. They just suck. They hate their customers, right? So like they do everything they can to handicap the integration, whereas you went out of your way. You didn't ask me for any favors. You didn't ask me to pay anything. It's like, oh yeah, let me just get my top developer on it. It's not even like one of his developers. Let me get my top developer to look at it, and we'll get it done. So when you say like, oh, we just integrate, that's where the magic happens. Truly, as a supplier, I felt that way. Truly, for my customers, it's felt that way. And maybe it sounds like really obvious when we say it, but it's clearly not common sense.
You'd like to think it would be.
Yeah.
I mean, like, and when Stephanie introduced us,
Yeah.
I've known about like anybody in this game for a while. Like we've been in the real estate game for a long time.
Mhm.
I know your name. I know, we hadn't met yet.
Right.
So I was very happy to meet because I was like, oh, I know Steve. Of course I know Steve. That's great. But also, I want to build the best product for our customers. And
Seems like a
as soon as
thing.
you told me what you were trying to do, I was like, shit, yeah. Like, how would I not want that in to be connected? And like, how would I not want to bring that into my customer base?
Right.
Like that is such an obvious win. It's a win for us. It's a win for you, but it's a huge win for our customer base. So for me, it was, and the benefit of any business, in the software industry, and we taught, where you have full control of everything, which we do, we can make decisions very rapidly. And for the most part, something like this is not that technically challenging. You built the technically bit on your end.
Right.
All we have to do is make sure that we're connecting it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're continuing to do more stuff. We want to do more stuff with that. So to me, it's absolutely no brainer. And and my view of it is, where there's where we have a customer opportunity to give up the best possible product, jump on it. Jump on it fast.
Yeah. There's this book out there, Delivering Happiness. Maybe more people should read that book. All right. So enough bashing your competitors.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not doing it. I'm doing it.
I haven't bashed anyone.
I'm doing it for you because I got to experience it firsthand. And so like, maybe you just set such a good precedent for me that everyone else is like, why don't they see it? Okay, so you built it out. You got the phone system. It didn't seem to take that long because you already built out the Podio. So when you built Smrtphone, like how long were you able to integrate it for your client who was having that existing challenge?
So that client, we integrated that like right away.
Mm-hmm.
Now they ended up going belly up.
Yeah.
And but to be honest, we didn't build it, like we built it to be a product.
Right.
Now we didn't know if it would we didn't know if it would take off or not, right? We didn't, but we figured we'll build it as a product. And, and like when people request custom features, we don't do custom features for people, but we listen to customers. I speak to customers still weekly, and we will make universal, like we'll put a feature in for everybody.
Right.
And so we viewed it as a product. We viewed it as an add-on product to Podio, and we're determined to make it an add-on product that anyone could use.
Right.
So the impetus that ended up fizzling out because they ended up fizzling out, but we then were left with this product.
Right.
And we hit the exact right time where real estate was booming in Podio. Nobody else could do what we could do.
Right.
And so the stars aligned.
Yeah, and I still remember, we've talked about this on the show before, the Go Giver Mastermind, like Brandon Simmons' mastermind event. And in there, we had, Carlos Reyes, Jamil Damji, Pace Morby, Brent Daniels. And I think if I remember correctly, it was Rafael Cortez, if I remember correctly, was the one that's like, hey, like, we're using this tool. It's Smrtphone. You guys should check it out, right? And then I remember he's like, oh, there's no A in there because like we're trying to pull up on our phone. There's no A in there. It's Smrtphone without an A. And that's when I first heard about you guys. And that's when we incorporated it. And this, I think it was before the dialer even came out.
Oh, yeah. Dialer came out a year or so later.
Yeah. So I guess the first thing I got to say is, why is there no A in there?
I know, right? I know. Honestly, that's one of those things from a branding perspective where if you could go back in time,
Mhm.
probably would have fixed it all. But so because it was all so organic,
Mhm.
we had this idea to do it and all that. I'd bought the domain smrt.studio
Mm.
because I was thinking of building this semi product for design studios because I'd been working with a couple of them.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, smart, it's kind of cool. That'll work.
Mhm.
And I bought that domain, and then we decided to make the phone system.
Mhm.
And so we were like, well, okay, what, playing around with names, and we're like, well, it was gonna be Smart Studio. Why not just Smartphone?
Mhm.
And we're like, yeah, let's go with that.
All right.
And we ran with it, and then of course, once it gets to a point where you're like, well, we're not changing it now. I mean, we're a brand that people recognize, like people know who we are. But that's why, like, it was one of those things where we were doing so much other stuff, and the name was sort of like, well, should we just go with that? Yeah, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's from a branding perspective, that's probably terrible, but it is, and people find us.
Yeah, they'll always find you. So then talk about like, so you built it out for this one customer. It didn't work out for that particular customer because of their business. What was the journey then, like building, like, so you build a tool for one person, but like to get to like the next 5, 10, 100, like what was that journey like?
It's so funny. I think back to it occasionally. Like I think back to it, and you know, when we first started, we didn't even have Stripe. We were using PayPal,
Mm.
and I hate PayPal. But we were using PayPal, and we were using Recurly for subscription management.
Mm.
And we were manually going and telling people to top up if they went negative. Because because there was like 3 of us, and we were just like, like there were 4 of us at that point. Because I think we brought in some of our first
Hey,
guys.
your balance is low. Can you go top it up?
Yeah, kind of like, hey, whereas now everything's automated and blah, 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 and there's like automatic top ups and all that. But like at the time, you'd be like, hey, you're in debt now. Like, can we top up, please? Like, genuinely, we were doing that. And, but like, so the journey to the first 100 or so customers, a couple things about that. And again, it's the unique element of the ecosystem we started out with, which allowed us to grow so well. We probably grew to 3 million in revenue
Mhm.
just with Podio. 3-4 million in revenue with just Podio. And because inside Podio there was an ecosystem. At the time it was called Globiflow,
Mhm.
which was the automation tool built by my friend. And
Really?
Andreas, yeah. I used to beg for feature requests by taking him out for beers in Toronto. I'd go take him out for chicken wings and beers and be like, hey, can you do this? And the next day it'll be done. But there was this inside of Podio. You had these Podio communities
Mhm.
where everybody was in, and that gave us a reach to people, a direct connection where people could talk to me and I could talk to them. And and there was an ability to communicate.
You're able to meet your customers exactly where they were.
I could talk to them, and I spent all the time. Like Vlad, my 2 business partners are Vlad and Alex, and the 3 of us are the ones who still, like, we're the people who are at the head of Smrtphone. And I'm the guy who talks to people. They're not really.
Mhm.
They do a brilliant and amazing job technically and running the whole cut, like all of that. But I'm the one who talks to people. And most of my time, aside from designing, like I literally wireframed and designed the whole product on a piece of
Got it.
paper. Most of my time was just talking to people. Oh, like, what are you doing with this? How would you like this? Like that Smart Dialer came out because the Billy Alvaro. Do you know him?
Yeah, in New York.
Billy? Yeah, in New York. So Billy was a customer of Alex and Vlad, who also own RAI Evolution, which is a Podio-based platform.
Mhm.
He was a good customer of theirs, and Billy was the one who was like, "Hey, man, build Smart Dialer.
Yeah.
I need a power dialer," and
Mhm.
so we built that. But it was that we had this direct link with the customers.
Mhm.
I was able to, and I speak to customers. People think like, oh, as you grow up, I get to distance myself. No. Oh, no. I speak to customers every week.
Wow.
I was on a call this morning at 5:30 a.m. because I'm jet lagged, as you say, I'm in Poland and we're in Pacific time. I was on a call at 5:30 in the morning with one of our long-term customers. They were having a couple problems with they wanted to ask questions, best practice.
Mhm.
And Cesar, our integration manager, got organized a call, and he and I popped on together for half an hour together, and we talked through things. And I listen, and so I'm on calls all the time, and to me that is absolutely critical.
Yeah.
Because if I'm on calls and I'm listening to what people are finding difficult, I have the influence to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, you look at one of the most successful companies of all time, Walmart, right? Like Sam Walton, like he was notorious for flying around the country and just talking to customers. That's how he built Walmart, right? Like we think of like, the commercials with like the smiley face and like the prices dropping. It's like, no, that's not what built it. That's what's maintained it. But he was flying around the country, going to stores and just talking to clients, customers. Simple principle.
Well, and it matters so much. I think it also matters that the people at the top talk to customers.
Mhm.
Like there's this sort of arrogance that happens a lot of times where you're, oh, but he's the CEO or whatever. Like, it becomes this sort of thing. Bullshit. Like, come on, like get rid of that notion.
Yeah.
But also, it's like it is so critical that I maintain
Mhm.
a touch with the customers.
Yeah.
I have to do that because it's not good enough that I go, oh yeah, sure, our product manager is going to talk to customers daily.
Yeah.
Of course he should. Absolutely. Our support team and our, all in the sales, like all that. Absolutely great. Our developers still talk to customers. Great. But it's really critical that I maintain.
How do you do that with 2,500 customers?
Well, I don't talk to them all. but I tell you what though, like my standing rule is when, God, don't abuse this. Don't abuse this.
We talk to the manager.
Yeah. Well, but my standing rule, like if there's a customer, occasionally you'll get people who are angry.
Mhm.
You'll let someone down, or something will happen. Sometimes it's nothing you have done, but they're taking it out on you.
Absolutely.
It happens. You can't get away from that. And so my standing thing is send them to me.
Mhm.
Send them to me. I'll meet with them. I'll take responsibility.
Mhm.
I'll listen to them.
Mhm.
And I may not be able to solve their problem. Like there are times when their problem is like it's not solvable because it's a compliance thing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I can't do what you're wanting to do, but
Right.
I will listen to them
Mhm.
and I'll get in front of them. And I'm not, I don't hide. And also all the time, if I see something on a Facebook group or whatever, I just say, get them in touch with me.
Mhm.
And usually, and even like the classic is you'll get someone, because one of the problems is when you provide live, we provide live support through inside our product through the chat,
Mhm.
right? Live people.
Yeah.
And you'll occasionally get those people who are like all caps, and like, and really aggressive.
Yeah.
And I'll step in if I see something who's degrading or abusive, I'm in.
Mhm.
Tag me in and I'll go after that guy. But usually if they're really angry, I'll say, send them to me. The moment we get on a call together, a video call together, couldn't be nicer to me.
Right.
Couldn't be nicer. Because of course it's very easy to,
Mhm.
rage type in all caps. But when you're face to face with someone,
Pretty hard.
it's pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, I love that. I love that principle. So then, was it pretty smooth then, from like product launch to like it's easy? Like, what are some of the PayPal? Obviously, it's kind of funny, but what are some other big challenges you had building it up?
I mean, we were really lucky. The stars aligned.
Mm-hmm.
The real estate game was taking off in Podio. We were first to market. There was actually a Podio plugin that happened a week or two after our launch, like a week after our launch almost.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like a plugin to Chrome
Mm-hmm.
where you had to configure your own Twilio. And we were like, oh my God, someone else is doing it. It's the exact same time we did. But we got first out.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the momentum. And after that, nobody could touch us in terms of
Yeah.
Podio. Like they just, and I talked to Jesse Batch, Jesse Burrell.
Yeah.
I talked to him and we were talking on his podcast and about this. He was like, I remember you. I use you guys. Like nobody else could touch you.
Right.
Like nobody could touch you from a phone system in Podio because it's like you were there and you claimed that territory. And we really did for Podio.
Mhm.
And I'd like to think we claimed a lot of the territory in the real estate investment community in general. We, obviously there's other options and that's fine, but we've established a footprint.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is like traction for software is always traction and scalability are your challenges from a software point of view. Traction's your first challenge. How do you get to the point where the traction is generating itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Particularly where you're at a price point. If you're selling $25,000, $50,000 a year software, you can do a sales-led motion that takes 3 months to close.
Yeah.
100 grand contracts, 200 grand contracts. Fine. When you're selling a $50 a month subscription, you can't have a salesperson like that. That's not an efficient use of your time, right?
Right.
So how do you get that? The initial problem to any software is, how do I get the traction going? And the traction came from the real estate investing community.
Mm-hmm.
That's those stars aligning.
Got it.
And then the problem is scalability. And that is both infrastructure-wise. We're a real-time communication system. You have to have those calls happening, with thousands of people using the system every day, tens of thousands of individuals using it every day. They all have to be able to make phone calls and it be live and seamless and no latency and anything like that. So you've got infrastructure challenges, but you also have growing a business, supporting your customers, driving the product challenges.
Yeah.
And that, like, as you scale, like we're at 60 people now ish. As you scale from 3 people up to there, you go through these sort of stages of growth, and each of those stages of growth has come with different scalability challenges.
Was there a time in this journey early on where you had like, oh shit, like we screwed up, or like this isn't going to work? Do you have any like those moments in building it up?
I mean, there was a moment where we shouldn't say this probably, but no.
Good, now I have to say it.
Yeah, no, but there was a moment, and I can't remember exactly. It was early on. There was a moment where some bit of development we did triggered recharges on people's account, and some people were set up for like $1,000 charges, and they just triggered like some of those, and. And when we saw it, of course, we locked off that bit. We refunded right away, and I contacted everybody.
Yeah.
But those were probably that, and I guess the first thing. Again, I'm not sure I should say this, but it completely changed at this point. But when we first started, Jesus, I remember this so well. When we first started, we got someone tried to hack us. Of course, someone tries to hack you. Now at this point now, our infrastructure is so good, and like we've done penetrative testing and all that. Like we've locked it. Our system is so secure and so scalable now but this is like month 3, month 2, where someone figured out that you could do something like record voicemails using a phone number in Mongolia or whatever it was, and it would rack up charges. And we just never conceived of this. And we were just getting off the ground of the product, and we ran up a bill of like $8,000. We were just starting out, and we had no money and like all this. And that was like terrifying to just watch. And Vlad's furiously trying to lock things off and all that in real time. But again, we learned something there. Took a bit of a haircut, learned something there, and then security of platform became something that was never, that was focused on from that day forward.
And so thank you for sharing that story, because now I have something to be scared of. And also, like, there was something that, Hormozy just had his $100 million day, right? Which props. Like, no one else am I aware of in the information space has had a $100 million day.
Yeah, he crushed that.
Right. Part of that $100 million launch was selling his AI tool, right? It was an add-on, it was a bonus. It wasn't $6K for the AI tool, but it was like, hey, buy my 200 books and you get access to AI tool. And I think in less than a day, maybe a day and a half tops, someone hacked it and downloaded it and shared it for everybody, right? So it's just like security always has to be top of mind. If you're a real estate investor with a sales team and you're stuck babysitting reps instead of growing your business, this is for you. Right now, your reps are burning through your expensive leads like they're practice dummies. They're making costly mistakes you won't catch for weeks, and 70% of your potential revenue is walking to competitors because of inconsistent follow-up. That's why over 130 operators are now using objectionproof.ai to automatically review every single call within minutes train reps with AI roleplay sessions, and never miss another follow-up. Stop watching your competitors pull ahead while you're trapped doing manager work. Click the link in the description and book a call with my team to see how we can help you install a self-managing sales team this week.
Well, infrastructure and security, if you're scaling a business, a software business, the problem is people will attack you earlier than you think. You think like, oh, I'm not Microsoft. Like, who the hell is going to go after us? People started attacking us from like month 3.
Wow.
So, and then like a couple years, I think it was 2 years ago now, we went through a really rigorous infrastructure. Like we spent a ton of money on a new infrastructure, like a new infrastructure that was infinitely scalable. It costs a ton. And at the same time, we did a deep penetration test where we had someone come in, a company come in and blast us, every part of our product, to try and find weaknesses. And there was no red flags, no critical, a couple yellows that we locked off. But like it was a really important part of it because like you know, if you're in software, they're going to come after you. And the problem is, and this is something you definitely need to think of, when your tool has the ability, like with your lead manager, to make calls, that opens up even more weaknesses. Like I'm not going to name names on this story because I'm not going to name names on this one. And I know you know this person, so afterwards, I'll give you that. A couple years ago, we had a enormous compliance thing happen in Smrtphone. A telecom, we're an FCC regulated business, and if you start making phone calls, you're gonna come into the FCC space, and there's a lot that goes into being an FCC regulated company. And we had this issue when one of our mastermind groups that teaches and that teaches Smrtphone, they had a ton of systems of people using us, and they triggered a massive compliance problem. Like it was huge. Like I was on calls with lawyers and some of our providers at that time, Twilio as well, like their head legal team. Like it was a massive deal. And I stood in front of the mastermind people. They still don't know this to this day because I was asked to give up the names. And that I was asked to do that, and I didn't. I didn't. Like that's what, like my view is like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Now we worked through it, and our compliance got even tighter and better. But like it is a real thing, and you know, it's one of the things I watch these people, and they're like, oh, I can use Claude and I can vibe code a phone system in a day and do that. I'm like, yeah, okay, you can. And then enjoy your TCPA lawsuits. Enjoy it because and for real estate even, I found out the other day. Again, I'm not going to name names in this, but one of the systems that people phone systems, they're now stopping to work with real estate investors. Now we have spent 7-8 years building up compliance relationships with Twilio and Bandwidth and Telnix and all these guys. And so we were actually able to unlock. So we were able to do so that where for a while they were one of the upstream providers were refusing to certify A2P10 DLC for anybody using a Carrot website. Because they were like, well, that's going to be a spammer. We managed to unblock that for them. We managed to unblock, and that's because we invested the time and the processes and to develop and the rigorous compliance approach. So when I see people who are like just building shit real quick and going like, see, I can, okay.
Well, and the key is that the relationship and trust you created with them is why they were willing to listen. So when you stuck out your neck for a friend,
and I stood in front, and they don't know this, and they don't know this, and part of me always wanted to tell them, but I just I stood in front of them and I did not give up any names. I was like, no, let's focus on the solution.
Yeah,
And because I think like that's the like that's the way we should be. We should
absolutely.
our customers are our customers, and it's for us to deal with the compliance.
Well, and it's going to be even crazier, right? Because like with AI and calling, like this is going to be nuts. And thank you for the connection with your attorney. I actually had a conversation with her, and I had some fears, had some concerns, and unfortunately, she confirmed every single one of my fears. So we're gonna be very compliant.
Well, that's why I wanted to get you in touch with him. Like,
Mhm.
there are other people in this space that I don't really give a shit if they go around because I don't care about them. But
Yeah.
you're a partner,
Yeah.
so that's why when I really, I want you to work with them. They're a really great firm,
Yeah.
and compliance doesn't mean you can't do anything.
Right.
It just means you have to have the right barriers up.
Mhm.
And the problem is when you got these guys vibe coding a solution, okay, but then when your system ends up calling someone at 3 a.m,
Mhm.
just get ready for that $5,000 fine.
Right.
Like, just
Yeah.
get ready for it. It's
Mhm.
gonna happen.
So then we touched on this, but I guess before we get to that question, when did you know that this was going to be like a real thing? When it's like, oh wow, our idea actually has legs.
Yeah. Um, Pretty soon.
Hmm.
We were profitable super quick.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Like, Vlad and Alex, my co-founders, remind me all the time because we both had, for context, I had a Podio consultancy at the time building Podio systems. They had a Podio consultancy at the time building Podio systems.
Mhm.
So when we came together to do this project, we built it bootstrapped. They put the development time in, I put the sales and marketing time in. In fact, we counted all the hours that they used developing it, and we put it into what we called the whole,
Mhm.
and we paid that back to them
Okay.
because they used the development hours to do it. But I remember, like, one of the principles, and Alex and Vlad were really the drivers of it, was that we have to pay ourselves as the owners as well as we can, as soon as we can.
Hmm.
Not fall into this trap of like, oh, we'll just invest everything and never make
Put
any,
everything back.
put it, and never take us, take us out. Like, let's live our lives the best we
Right.
can. But the truth is, after, it started to scale very quickly. And like, when you first launch, you're talking about, a couple $1,000s. And then suddenly, and I remember like the graph was like $2,000, $5,000, $12,000, $30,000, $48,000, $57,000 in the month. And it just like, and it kept, and that's when we were like, oh, like, this is okay. $50,007. That's only what,
Mhm.
$600,000 a year.
Yeah.
But that happened in like 4 months.
Right.
Like, that was very quick, and that's when we realized. And that's actually, I got to a point about then when I sold off my Podio consultancy
Yeah.
so that I could focus on being the CEO of Smrtphone
Right.
because I couldn't be good at both, and Smrtphone's consultancy was ticking over,
Hmm.
ticking over 400, 500,000 a year, and that's it. Just
Mhm.
kind of doing the, lifestyle business. And this one was going.
Right.
And so,
Was it a tough decision at all?
no, not really, because at that time I was tired of the grind of a consultancy.
Hmm.
And that kind of like, that was not that tough. But it was, and it was also, I recognized you could see this was going somewhere. And it's like, if I'm there full time, we're really going to go
Yeah.
somewhere.
What about moving into like the real estate component? Like, was that? It sounds like that wasn't really a concerted effort. It was just like it just made sense.
It wasn't a target.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we founded this for real estate.
Hmm.
It turned out that became our biggest constituency, and now we spend a lot of time working with real estate investors and building features for them.
Hmm.
But it wasn't a target. It was just, we realized that that was that perfect confluence of events that sector really loved us.
Yeah. If you had to estimate when you first launched, let's say 6-9 months in, what would you estimate your percentage of clients were real estate investors?
70-30.
73 real estate was
Real estate 70.
right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Yeah.
Okay.
It's what got us to scale as quickly as it did. Don't get me wrong, there was lots of, in fact, I just posted on LinkedIn the other day because one of our first customers, a guy named Andrew McLaughlin, he runs a truck driving school
Mhm.
in Florida. They've been using us since month 4 or something.
Mhm.
Right? So it's not like we didn't have lots of people. People were using Podio and going, oh, wow, this would be really cool. But the truth is the speed of scale
Mhm.
really happened because of the volume of real estate people that were discovering Podio as a cheap and a flexible management tool.
Right. And then what were some of like, or I guess like today, what would you say is mixed as far as real estate versus non-real estate?
Oh, we're very heavily like we're probably 85.
85.
Yeah.
What are the other industries right now?
We've actually got kind of with solar is one, solar's one, home services one, property management is one, and we've got some professional service like accountants and law firms as well.
Yeah. So along the way, what would you say are some of your biggest victories? What was your biggest victory in this journey so far?
I mean, I think I'm not going to put monetary ones because they're not really the big victories. Like it's there's ego in seeing
For sure.
it, yeah, and that's great. I think one of the things that I'll never ever forget is last year, maybe a year and a half ago. So everybody is familiar with all these like Trust Pilots and Capterra and Gartner, Magic Quadrants, and all that.
Yeah.
Well, Trustpilot's a scam, in my
Like
view.
Yelp.
Yeah, Trustpilot's a scam.
Yeah.
They basically they highlight negative reviews so that they can go to companies and say we can help you fix it.
Like Yelp.
Yeah, it's like I'll always hate them.
Yeah.
But Capterra is one which just does ratings based on what people have reviewed. Like they've never once tried to sell us anything. 50 people review you, they compile everything together, and then they put, and last year and this year as well, we ranked very highly on a couple things. The first time I saw that we were number 2 in dialers on Capterra.
Yeah.
But more importantly, they come up with the graph, the quadrant, and we were the top on the right. And like Ring Central's down here and Dial Pads here and Erica, like these big companies that are way bigger than us, seeing our logo up in that list, like playing, like elbowing with the big boys kind of.
Yeah.
That was just seeing that. I remember just sitting and looking at it.
Yeah.
And just being like the Hollywood moment of just sort of like looking at it and going, Jesus, like that's us going toe to toe with these guys who are way bigger than us.
Yeah. Well, that's the underdog moment winning the championship.
Right. That was a real, and this year again, we came top tier in 3 different categories on them.
That's awesome. Let's talk about after Podio. All right. Like, because we're the only phone system designed for Podio. But then we had to make some adjustments to expand. So talk to me about what was that like expanding outside of Podio?
Well, it goes back to our friend Stephanie. So Stephanie, Alex, my co-founder, had met Stephanie at a Collective Genius event. And, Stephanie's so good. Like, she's so good at presenting and she's so good. I love Stephanie. We've been together twice this year at events, and it's so much fun. But what happened was Stephanie was really getting going with Left Main. She was really it became a thing.
Yeah.
And she was really going with it. And we got introduced. Alex organized a call for me and her and to meet Stephanie and I. And it just became an obvious thing where she was getting going. She was using SMS 360 at the time. Your favorite people. Yeah. I will say, just in their defense, I separate SMS 360 from Boulder
Okay.
because I know Josh at Boulder really well, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But SMS 360, I can, whatever. But they were using SMS 360 and fine. And we were talking. And she's like, it would be great. I really think it would be great if we could work together. And I said, yeah, I think that would be too. And we were like, this would be, why not? Why shouldn't we? Start looking and go in other platforms? And so Stephanie was our first integration.
Yeah. And was that seamless? Were there challenges?
Salesforce is always a challenge.
Talking about
Sale-
we're also moving into Salesforce, so
No, not as in left main as the challenge, but Salesforce, their ecosystem is
the
like
800-pound gorilla in the CRM space.
now we are fully integrated to Salesforce, but it like you have to go through security checks and like it is not as easy. It's not a hugely easy thing.
I can tell you before our podcast today, I was trying to figure some stuff out this morning. I wanted to bang something.
Yeah, well, the security reviews and all that, all of that stuff. No, but Stephanie made it easy. And actually, Stephanie set a precedent in many ways because Left Main is built on Salesforce, but they have their own methodology. They, when you buy Left Main, it's not just generic Salesforce. Mm-hmm. It's the Left Main constructed Salesforce, and now she's got deal signals, and that's awesome. And she's bringing in all that intelligence, and she's really built a beautiful ecosystem in there. And the precedent she set was our goal of when we integrate with systems, we fully integrate with them. Because we did that with Podio, but that's because we were only building it for Podio. Like, what the hell else are you going to do but fully integrate, right? Like, we were building it for this tool.
Yeah.
But with Stephanie, we rejigged and reconfigured part of our system and how it worked to work with her system.
Yeah.
And what we realized was that's where the magic happens, because you could use other systems with her via the app exchange, but we've built a lot of stuff so it works exactly with Left Main.
Got it.
And that's the same as true as we've, REI Sift and Carrot and Velo and Forefront and RealFlow and all those guys, when we bring them in, we redesigned for InvestorFuse. InvestorFuse / Carrot is got a very specific methodology of following up leads, and we redesigned for that. REI Sift has a really specific way they want to deal with Smart Dialer in their lead system. We redesigned Smart Dialer and how it works so that it's seamless, and that's where we differ.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, going back to the Capterra rating, right? Like, your users will rate you highly if they have a good experience, and the best way to have a good experience is to work seamlessly.
Is to be and to make your phone system. That's why I wrote the book. Right, the book is coming out in 2 weeks. But when you integrate your phone system fully with your CRM, you have all the tools to fly.
Yeah.
But that integration is absolutely critical.
Yeah. Well, it's a true integration. It's not a plug and play. It's a true integration. Like, we are working together or on the same team for the client.
I describe it as this. It's the difference between smartphone that works with something and smartphone that's built for something.
Got it.
And so when I think of it as smartphone for Left Main, smartphone for REI Sift, smartphone for RealFlow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's not just it works with, it's built for.
Yeah. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, my experience has been seamless from the beginning, right? And again, I say, like, 5 months later, you're still the only company that we're fully integrated with. Everyone else is just pulling teeth. Like, they're like, yeah, it's there. Just go get it. It's like, you're making it really hard for me to go get it. We actually, we're going into Salesforce for multiple reasons, but the biggest reason is because we have a lot of clients that are Boulder / SMS 360 that can't use our tool. So we're going through security, whatever, so that we can grab the data from Boulder 360. I know, you're perplexed.
I am.
Right. So our clients have to wait like another 4 to 6 weeks for us to get past compliance review from today. So that
Oh, and the compliance review for Salesforce ain't fun.
yeah, I know.
It's slow as shit.
Right.
They're useless at this. It's a great system. Salesforce is a hugely powerful system.
Yeah.
Like hugely powerful and reliable and rock solid and all that. Absolutely. But going through that security review can be a real pain. And not because, they find one small thing that they want you to change, and then it takes them ages to review it again.
Yeah. It sounds a lot like going through city and planning for development plans.
Yeah. Salesforce is think of the worst local planning office.
Mhm.
That's Salesforce.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Fortunately, I'm not the one that's focused on that. That's my brother is focused on that. That is his only focus. But yeah, when he shares me updates, it's aggravating.
Well, those customers can just come over from 360 to us.
I tell them. I've told every single one. Even Go High Level. Like Go High Level, again, same initial experience. Like, no, we will not give you the report.
The High Level gives you zero help on development as well. Like, we just integrated with High Level, so you can use us in High Level.
Yeah.
I would say, like with Salesforce, they've got extensive documentation. It ain't hard. With High Level, they don't provide developers any support at all.
Yeah.
And they're also, I have a suspicion about High Level. I could be wrong, but they seem to they're really, I feel like they're trying to go down the closed ecosystem route in a big way, because they've got their lead connectors, but my view of these all-in-one solutions, and this, I don't mean this with any disrespect to even some of our competitors in the real estate industry that are all-in-ones. When you've got a CRM system, you're either this, you can't be good at everything. Right. You can, what is it? Master of none, right? Jack of all trades, master of none. When you've got a system, a CRM system, and then that company, they also build a phone system and all that, right? Your chances of you being really good at all of it are pretty slow. I've seen some of these all-in-ones where compliance is like a bomb waiting to happen.
Oh.
For them, because because they're not a phone system. They are adding in because, of course, the technology's there, and so they don't really think about all the compliance things or opportunities. And so my thing with the all-in-one solution, like GHL is obviously High Levels clearly they've got Lead Connector, which is their phone system, and they're clearly favoring that. Whereas with Salesforce has its own dialer. It's shit.
Yeah.
And they don't really, and they don't stop. They don't try and wall off the garden for everybody else. Feels like High Level is trying to go on the no, just use our shit only.
Well, that's the feeling I got.
And that's that. And the problem is that okay, then you're okay, fine, but you're not giving your customers options.
Right.
You're closing them off and saying, and chances are you're not going to have the best phone system out there.
Yeah, and they're really just a white label of Twilio, right? And so, but yeah, I think there's this element of we don't want to share, and it's not just them. We're just talking about them right now. There's a lot of them that are like that. But I mean, I literally had to go and finagle all these different things just to get the data out of it. So yeah, Smrtphone also works to Go High Level. Use that. There's other ways to get that information out now, today, but Smrtphone's just easier.
I believe.
Okay. And so then you were saying that you wrote a book, right? So tell me about the book.
Yeah, the book's called Click, Call, Scale, Real Estate Investors' Ultimate Phone System Playbook. And that's, what I realized is that you've got a lot of stages of your real estate investment career, right? Real estate investors, they come in all shapes and sizes. And, sometimes you'll get the guys who go to one of these events and they've drunk the Kool-Aid and they think they're going to be a millionaire overnight because it's really easy, and then they find out no, it's not. and you got to build a structure, and then you get them all the way through to the really professional organizations that have a sales driven process and everything. And the phone, it is your number one connector. Regardless of what anything else, a text message that pops up on someone's phone, or a call that comes to them while it's in their pocket, that is their number one that is your number one way to reach people. And yet there is such an inconsistency of training, of understanding what's good practice, bad practice, of from texting to calling to compliance to to power dialing to all this bit. And I thought, well, I've been working in real estate for 12 years, like in terms of CRMs and all that. Smartphone for 8. I have personally trained and worked with hundreds of real estate companies, and I know the phone ecosystem better than, I'm going to guess, most people by far. And so I thought, I'm going to put down everything I know, and I'm going to walk people through, and it doesn't just talk about, it's not really, it is a book about a phone system, but it's a book about scaling a business and the things that you need to do that's surrounding the phone system.
Yeah.
Like good data. The first chapter
Mhm.
is all about your CRM data. Because if your CRM data is shit,
Mhm.
everything else is a slog.
Right.
And so the book is really designed. It's coming out in about 2 weeks. I can drop you a link for this. It's coming out in a couple weeks, and it really is. It's designed to be a playbook for people of almost any size to dig in and understand where they can improve or build the best practice.
Got it. What are the biggest takeaways, like, for someone that doesn't pick up the book? What are the biggest top 3 points inside the blueprint for a person that's listening to the show to go and execute?
Well, you're in one of them. In many ways, you're in. There's a chapter, not specifically you, but you're the objection proof. The AI call scoring
Yeah.
is in there. So one biggest takeaway is how you train and how your agents
Mhm.
and how you maintain performance of agents. Because
Yeah.
I think that training agents and maintaining performance of agents are two 100% essential parts
Yeah.
of building a team. I don't have to tell you that.
Right.
But it's an area that so many people don't do well.
Mhm.
They just like, and I hate it when I see people like, oh, I just get another VA if this one's crap. Like they it's like almost a commodity. Like I'll just get another $5 like person. So that definitely the big takeaway is diving into ways of training people, but also ways of maintaining performance.
Yeah.
And that's a really important part. That's definitely in the book quite a bit. One is just the idea of your data and of the need. Bad data isn't just inefficient. Bad data can cost your reputation. Like imagine you've got a completely convoluted database of people,
Mhm.
and I think in the book the story is Linda. I can't remember. I changed everybody's name, but Linda's got, you got 5 numbers for Linda. She's in there in 5 leads because you got no consistency,
Mhm.
and 4 different people call her in the space of a day.
Yeah.
How's Linda feeling right now?
You guys don't have your stuff together.
Yeah, well, not only that, but Linda's very likely to report you.
Mm.
More than likely to report you. But you're not winning Linda.
Right.
You're not winning Linda because Linda thinks you guys are fucking stupid,
Mhm.
right? And it's like those little things that people don't think about, but there is a method you could use to build up and scale a business, and your phone's an absolute critical part of that. But you have to understand how to use it. You have to understand how to use it to build relationships. People think about cold calling
Mhm.
as just a volume game. I don't think of it like that. There is an element of volume there,
Mhm.
but cold calling is about finding opportunities and bringing them to warm.
Right.
It's not just about hammering away.
Mhm.
And so I think the book does a really good job. I mean, selfishly, I hope it does. But I think it does a really good job of laying out fundamental principles of how you can scale your real estate business using a phone.
Got it. And then for those that are listening right now, because I want to talk some more about your journey, about like building, to get to 10 mil is no small feat. But before we continue there, let's talk about right now 2,500 clients, right? And we talked about like how you make them happy. But like, what are you seeing as far as trends go, as far as like the top teams across the country? Like, what are you seeing and how they operate versus everyone else?
Oh, well, the best teams, I mean, we've got one of our top customers. They've got they attack like 40 of the states.
Mhm.
Like these are serious players.
Yeah.
They have hyper professional teams. They've got really structured processes. They've got teams. They review their calls. They review their performance. They are a machine.
Mhm.
The best teams are the ones who are intentional about how they operate, and that sounds obvious.
Sounds obvious.
Like that should be a no-brainer. It is not. There are so many people who are just like, and particularly when it comes to calling, they just see it as calling.
Mhm.
They don't understand that this is your entire method of building and closing leads.
Well, there's this expression, it's just a numbers game. While there's truth to it, we can strongly impact those numbers.
Yeah. And it's just a numbers game is true,
Mhm.
but the numbers you're talking about are probably different than the ones they think.
Yeah. So what will be different?
Like, so example, when I teach, so if I go into a real estate investor company and say a relatively new, someone's who's trying to build a scalable business, you'd be amazed how many people. A great example. So you've got a real estate business and you're going to do, say you're going to do some bandit signs, and you're going to do some leaflets, right, to get some inbound call traffic going. Great. How many people? The amount of people who don't measure what channel they've used. So let's say they've done 5,000 leaflets or postcards or letters, whatever. What leads they get, and then what money they make, and how many calls it takes, and how many, like the amount of people who don't measure that. Because if you measure that properly, and well, if I send out 5,000 leaflets to 5,000 addresses, and I'm gonna average 100 calls, say. And of those 100 calls, I'm going to get 10 of them that are actual prospects that have a need and a house to sell now. And of those, it's going to take me an average of 5 or 6 calls to get them to the point where I've got them under contract.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to take me 2 months to get the whole thing closed, right?
Right.
If I'm not measuring all of that in those little numbers, not the 5,000, but if I'm not measuring each step of the way, I can't reverse engineer and say, well, I now know if I do that properly, I can say, well, I want to do twice the volume next year. So what do I have to dial up? And what do I have to be prepared for?
Well, it depends. Find where the weak spots are.
Well, but also if you look at not just the big numbers, but you look at like how many calls does it take? Because I'll guarantee you it takes more calls than you think.
Right.
And if your agents are so focused on the top number, the new leads, and they're not doing their follow-up properly, you wonder why you're not growing as much. Well, that's because you're leaving a huge amount of money on the table, because instead of having a meticulous approach to a follow-up, which is hitting them to get to the point so that when they're ready, you're there.
Yeah.
You could have had probably 20% uptake if you just done that properly.
Yeah.
But you didn't. And that's where I mean about the numbers are, it is a numbers game, but the numbers you need to pay attention to aren't just, like how many leads are we getting in? Because if you're not following up those leads properly, it doesn't matter how many you're getting in.
Absolutely.
You're leaving so much money on the table.
And we typically see in our industry about on the good operators, 70% of their deals come from follow-up, right?
Of course.
So if you're like at a 50-50 follow-up, you're leaving money on the table.
Well, how many times have you ever seen an opportunity? I mean, I'm sure it happens, but I rarely see a call where you made an initial call to someone. They say, you know what? I am really upset. My mother died. I have this house. I'm emotionally done, and I want to sell it to you at a discount. Like that.
That's happened.
And let's do it right now. I'm sure it happens. It's not usually a one and done.
You cannot run a business based off of that.
Not a one and done thing. It is very rarely a one and done thing, and that's where it as well. But people think of the follow up when I teach follow-up, I teach a relationship follow-up. And I think a lot of people just think, they put these blast cadences together, which are these impersonal sort of like, and okay, I guess it's better than nothing.
Yes.
Better than nothing. But there are ways to develop these things. And the tools, like when you connect Smrtphone with your CRM, we were talking about Left Main earlier, but any of our CRMs, you have the ability to trigger and customize and make these follow-ups seamless and personal and relevant. And you can use them to build a relationship with someone because it's that relationship that's going to end up winning you that sale.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we've also talked about was bootstrapping. And bootstrapping, because you got a software company, there's a choice that has to be made, or should be made. Is do you want to bootstrap this yourself, or do you want to bring in investors, professional investors? So talk to me. You guys decided to go on the bootstrapping route. So talk to me. What was the decision process? Or I guess first off, what are the pros and cons of each?
I'm filming this video for the man himself, Mr. Ian Ross. The guy crushes. The guy's the best person in sales I've ever seen. I've invested elsewhere and I haven't got the same results. I've gone from being a seller, making 5K a month, to being a hybrid role, making 11K a month, to now be 4 months down the line from 5K to on a closing opportunity, inbound, full calendar, with the best opportunity, the best offer in my space. OTE is around 20K a month from month 2. So I've gone from 5K to 20K. If that's not a return on your investment, I don't know what is, man. If you're a salesperson and you don't invest in sales training, you're going to get left behind because your job is to be better at sales. And sales training directly makes you more money.
If you like what you just heard and would like similar types of success, text CLOSE to 33777. And we'll see if you qualify to join Objection-Proof Selling. We're taking good sales reps and we're making them objection-proof.
I think, all right, the pro, and this is changing right now. There is a greater than ever emphasis on bootstrapping.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, it was just like, come up with an idea, get seed funding, raise. Right? That was the process.
It's the Y Combinator, Silicon Valley.
100%. Silicon Valley, it was the process. And the problem is that process is heavily weighted in one favor, and it's not yours.
Right.
It's the VC companies. 100%. And you're never in control if you go through that process like that, because they are going to, first of all, they're smarter at this than you are. They know the business side of this better than you. The terms are going to be weighted in their favor. Now, the pluses are when you bring in investors in, and when you have professional investors, particularly who understand software, they can connect you with people that can help you. They've been there and done it. They have management experience that they can bring in who understand the challenges and can help you navigate them. And I think when it comes time to an exit, they have the experience you don't have.
Right.
They've exited software, so they understand how to make those deals, what deals are good or not, how to prepare the company for valuation and all that. That is definitely a plus. The downside, and why, like for me, bootstrapping, the downside of bootstrapping is, look, you're using your own money, and that sometimes limits pace. Now, too much pace can be bad because you then run so fast that you trip.
Right.
For me, bootstrapping is being in control of your own destiny as well. It's about, where you have a challenge or the market changes and maybe, growth flattens over here or whatever. You have the luxury of control and time when you're a bootstrapper. You have control of your destiny. You can make the decisions and you can build the team the way you want to build it. When you get investors in, you immediately, there's a new trend in investing called growth equity. So the VC model is a really obvious one. We're going to make this many bets and we're going to assume, say we make 20 bets. We're going to assume 1 comes off big, 2 come off okay, and the rest fail.
They just die.
They would die. But you know what? They don't give a shit about you.
They don't.
So they'll invest.
For them, it is
and then
game.
For them, it is like, we've invested in the thing you care about more than anything. We're going to give you whatever, $5 million. And the world's your oyster and And then a year later, they're like, yeah, you're dead.
Mhm.
And you're sitting there going, like, for you, it's an emotional, like, what? You're taking
baby.
my baby and you're killing me.
Mhm.
The VC model is it's brutal, it's vicious, and it is
Black and white.
It's aimed at and it's their model.
Mhm.
Then you got the angel side of things, friends and family. That's probably the best. If you're gonna get money in, friends and family is without the best. The best comes with other challenges, navigating friends and family. If something doesn't work well, and suddenly you've let down your friends and family, then they've got this new, the new trend is in growth equity. And growth equity is, and they all, oh God, I've had so many meetings with these guys, and they all talk about, the narrative's always the same. We're not VC funding, we care about you, and da da da. But I will say about growth equity, good growth equity, the terms are usually much more favorable. And the growth equity is there to come in. There's usually a minority stake. They don't always even take a board seat. And they're there. They want every bet to win. They don't have the numbers to do the VC. The VCs are doing that bet because the one that makes it for everybody.
A unicorn.
It's the one that pays the 17 that failed. It's okay. We paid that off and we made a lot of money. The growth equity people are more like, we want everyone to have at least a win. May not be as good as we wanted, but we don't want to lose on many of them.
Right.
And so it tends to be a bit of a more friendly one. It tends to be, like if they're investing 20% of the company, and you also, a lot of times they'll let you take some chips off the table. So I've got a buddy of mine in this CEO group of mine of software people. He just took in a $20 million growth equity, $20 million. And 15 of that went into his pocket as the owner. So they gave him 15 million in cash to him, taking off chips off the table, and 5 million went into the business to bump up the business.
Right.
Now that's a wonderful model for him, because it's like, if this business fails, he's still got $50 million in his pocket.
Right.
So that's an angle that, and if you're scaling your software business, I think growth equity is a great, once you get traction and you get to a certain size, I'd rather go the growth equity way, because you could take some chips off the table, take a few million in your pocket, and invest in the business. And what they're trying to do is get you to the point where, all right, say they value at 100 million, they want to sell you at a value of 300 million.
Right.
And everybody goes home real happy.
Yeah. Well, for me, I looked at that. That's kind of like the private equity route. Is that different?
It's slightly different. But like private equity plays a slightly different game. But now, if you look at it now, you'll see growth equity all over the place.
Yeah.
And they're almost invariably people who worked in venture or worked in private PE. And then they'll have created this model. They all think that's unique. It's not. Well, they're all like, this is how we're different. I'm like, yeah, same way that anyone else says they're different.
Like every other marketer.
Yeah, that's like, we're different because we care about you. It's like, well, he said that too. Like, whatever.
Right.
But to be fair, I've met a lot of these growth equity people now, and some of them are really, really very good. They're very knowledgeable, and it's a different mindset and partnership. VC is not a partnership.
Yeah.
They are your masters.
Yeah, they're the boss.
And you are, and I didn't get into this game. I've never worked for someone in my adult life. I have no desire to do it now.
Yeah. Guys, please, as you guys are listening, please comment below your biggest takeaway from today's show. If there's anything you'd like to see more of, less of, share in the comments. I really do review every single one. So as you guys are taking lessons here, comment below. It really does help everybody. So we talked a lot about Smrtphone and so on. Before we go back to your personal part, is there anything here, lessons you learn along your journey that you think anyone that's looking to do what you guys have done, they must know before they go down this road of building out a tool, a software? I mean,
number one is listen to your customers. If you're not every day listening to your customers, then you're going to start failing.
Yeah.
Because the customers are, that you need to listen to them. In general, I think, one of the thing that separates, in my view, the thing that separates the people who do it from the people who don't is that when the shot is there, they take it.
Yeah.
And that sounds obvious and simple again, but like no matter the people who end up building things and scaling things, I think all have one thing in common. And that is when the shot is there, they take it and they don't hesitate. And that is not everybody.
It's not.
I really is not everybody. There's so many people I've met who are like, oh, I really want to start a business. And I speak sometimes, you get brought into entrepreneurial programs at universities and all that. And I will always go into universities or clubs, entrepreneurial clubs, and talk to them. I'll always give my time. And you meet people who have this great ideas, but you see the hesitancy and the risk. And I will always say to them, look, mate, like from what I'm hearing, here's my feedback to you. You don't have, you don't sound like you're willing to take the risk.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to take the risk, you will never accomplish this.
Right.
And I think that is like listening to your customers and taking the shot are the two things that I think are absolutely critical.
Yeah. I don't get asked to speak in front of less experienced people so much anymore. But anytime I've been asked, I've always been honored to, because I know that one person, the message will land, maybe two. I know the rest of them is going to miss, but one person, if we can connect with one person, it's worth it. So looking at you now with everything you got going on, what is your epic life goal?
Epic life goal? Well, I'm learning how to fly right now.
Okay.
I'm doing my private pilot's license right now. And
in Europe?
In Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, in Europe. And my epic life goal is 100% to buy a plane and to be able to say to my wife and kids, hey, you guys want to pop over to Greece for lunch? I'm not kidding.
No, that's awesome.
So I live in Poland, and with some of the planes that I'm looking at, I could get anywhere in Europe on one tank of gas. And so like I can imagine a scenario in a few years, maybe we've exited, if we've exited, and I'm not one of these guys who's going to have to start again. I'm like, nope, I'm happy enjoying life. But 100% my epic life goal is to be able to like wake up and say, hey, do you fancy going to Paris for lunch? Or you want to pop over to Croatia for a night, right, and just be able to do it.
So whereas I would say like, hey, you want to go to Vegas or San Diego road trip? You're like, hey, you want to go to Greece?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things I love about living in Europe is that like, obviously I'm Canadian, so I understand the scale, and I've lived in the US as well. But one of the things I love about Europe is you do have this playground that's all very accessible within a very small area. And so like popping down to the south of Spain or over to Portugal or hopping over to Athens or going up to Lithuania, the Baltics or Sweden or anything like that, you've got such a huge variety and flavors and cultures, and it's all accessible. And if I have a plane, I'll just be able to because you can file a flight plan 30 minutes before.
Yeah,
and
really?
If you're flying in IFR, I'm not going to get geeky, but you can literally file a flight plan 30 minutes before, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, it's it's a great example because like we as Americans get knocked all the time for not traveling very much, right? Like you guys don't leave the country, but then you look at like how big the United States is. Yeah. You look at how close everything is in Europe. It's like the countries over there are like states over here.
Yeah,
right? Like
the European Union is essentially it's comparable to the US in the sense that you've got all these different states that have very distinct flavors and cultures too. America, right. Like, geez, if I've been fortunate enough to be in a lot of different states, and they're all they have different cultures, different feelings, different foods, different everything. 100%, the US is basically a tapestry like Europe.
Yeah.
I do always promote the idea because I've lived in a number of countries now. I speak a number of languages.
Oh, you do?
Well, and I always recommend to people, like, and particularly if you got kids, get them to live in another country.
Yeah.
Get them to experience life in another country because
we're definitely gonna be doing that.
It's a different. It gives you such a different appreciation when you immerse yourself, not just like on a holiday for a week, but like if you immerse yourself into another culture, I think it gives you so much.
Yeah, perspective. What do you want to be remembered for? I
think probably that I always show up. I I don't really have any needs to be remembered for building great things or making a lot of money.
Yeah.
I do like to think that I always show up for people.
Yeah.
I always show up when I'm needed. And that's probably the thing I would care the most about.
I love that. What is your biggest struggle today?
Biggest struggle today, like anything, from a business perspective, everything, the market's changed and there are a lot of new tools out right now, and people are one of the downsides with our industry is that there's a shiny key syndrome. Like,
Mhm.
anytime there's something new, people are like following the keys around.
Yeah.
So different, making sure that we continue to be focused on our customer base and scaling effectively is definitely an ongoing challenge. And also we've been very fortunate from a business perspective of having a lot of customers brought to us over the years
Right.
because of our CRM connections and all that. And we're now building up a much greater emphasis on being able to reach out and actively generate more customer bases. And so
Yeah.
that's a whole structure I'm building right now.
And then you were recently reassigned in your organization.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So when we started Smrtphone, I started out as the CEO.
Mhm.
And when you're 3 people, that is the dumbest title in the world, right? Like, yeah, I see that all the time. People are like, "I'm the CEO of this company." I'm like, "There's 2 of you, right?"
Or one.
Yeah, really? Is that a CEO? But then as the company started to grow, that does become a thing.
Mhm.
So our journey up to where we are now, I was CEO up until March of this year.
Mhm.
And one of the challenges as you scale the business is that there's a lot of moving parts. And what I was finding is, as a CEO, and my co-founders were finding is, as a CEO, I suddenly was getting a lot more attention having to be internal compliance and structures and building, and building the right structures for how we work and cultural fits and all that. And I wasn't getting enough time to be what I always have been, which is also the face of the company. Like,
Mhm.
I am the face of Smrtphone in many ways.
Yeah.
But, people know me, like for when I was in Podio, I was the guy up in Podio, and I'm still the face of Smrtphone. And I wasn't finding, there wasn't a lot of success with that. And we decided to reorganize at a board meeting in February. We decided to basically build the company for the next 10
Mhm.
to 20. And the belief, and Vlad and Alex, my co-founders, kind of had put together a strategy and a plan. And that involved me focused much more on outwards, building partnerships,
Yeah.
and building partnerships with people like you and focused on where we're going and all that. And going on podcasts and writing books and getting out there. And so in March this year, we reorganized the company. We restructured the executive team, and I moved from being CEO to being chairman of the company. So I run the board, and I am very much I'm focused on the marketing, the sales, the external now, and I have zero responsibilities on an executive and administrative basis.
It's gotta be a lot less stress.
Oh my God. Oh my God, are you kidding? It's great. It's like, it's your problem now. Like, it's been my problem for 8 years. Your problem now. But it's smart the way I think how we've restructured the company is smart. It lets everybody play to their best strengths.
Absolutely.
And like I say, it's stress. Like, I no longer have responsibility for that, and so I can just focus on the outwards.
Absolutely. What would you say is your superpower?
My superpower is my ability to visualize.
Mhm.
So back in the day, I was a musician, and I was doing my PhD at the University of Edinburgh. And one of the things I developed was sort of a methodology of analyzing music in a 3-dimensional way.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to deep dive into that geeky wise. But the short version is, and I'm not going to go into the massive music, but the short version of it is, most people think of music in 2 dimensions.
Mhm.
They think horizontally, right? Rhythm and melody, and they think vertically in terms of pitch and harmony. But the truth of it is that music also has another another axis, which is where all the bits, how they all fit together.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's lots of things when you listen, whether it's a rock song or whether you listen to a symphony, there are lots of elements, and they're not all at the same part in the spectrum.
Yeah.
There's background, middle ground, foreground stuff. And so I developed an analysis, and I've always been of an ability to visualize and think and build structures and strategies. It's what made me a very good consultant.
Yeah.
And developing marketing and sales strategies and change
You
management.
can see how everything works together.
I can visualize and map the entire company and everything that needs to happen. I can visualize it in 3D, and that lets me really develop very, very, like I'm really good at that. I can look at something and I can map it out in a 3D way and understand how everything connects together, so I know which levers need to be pulled in which ways.
Yeah.
That's, I think, my best power.
Is there a name for that?
I have no idea. Yeah, it's not like I wish I had a sexy one. Like, I don't know, I can fly, but it's the truth. I do think that's my superpower.
Oh, I believe it. It's fascinating.
It's just a really weird one.
I've never heard anyone describe that, so that's really cool. What would you say is a failure that you learned the most from?
Certainly one of the most emotional learning curves. So about 2.5, 3 years ago, just after that compliance thing I told you about, where I stood in front of those people, I'll tell you after that. There was a period of probably 6 months where, we just gotten through this massive compliance battle, and it was just hard. And now as the CEO at the time, a lot of it went through me. Like when the crisis happened, I very much had I'm here, I'm in charge of this. That's not ego, by the way. Like people think, oh no, you need direction. When a crisis happens, you need really clear direction.
Yeah.
And you need really clear, because otherwise people are running and it gets really messy really quick in a crisis. And so, I remember very clearly, it was like, look, guys, this is the team that's handling this crisis. Everything's going to go through me. And so like, you're on comms, you're on this, you're on that, you're on that. And we, and I'm going to, right. I'm directing it.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, like, is that just ego? No, that's what's needed in a crisis.
Yeah.
Clear direction. We gotten through that. And we, and I just remember, there was 6 months of slog internally. And we've got a pretty happy culture in the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one of our senior people came to me and was like, it's really hard right now. And people are really, they're struggling. And I took that as such a personal failure.
Yeah.
That I hadn't recognized, that I hadn't done enough to listen and, and to listen to them and to understand where things were a problem or, and I'm someone who takes those things very personally anyway. Like I take like it cuts me deep, those things. And that, and that was a time when I wasn't tuned in enough to my people.
Mm-hmm.
And they were hurting.
Yeah.
And I had to really kind of look at things and look at myself and what I was focused on and reevaluate that a little.
Well, I imagine it was even harder because you take great pride in listening to people.
Yeah. And then oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's also an element of forgiveness for yourself because like you needed a wartime CEO, right? You needed a battle general at that time. Sometimes that empathy or that connection, it's sometimes a luxury, right? Like when people are getting shot, like we gotta triage.
Yeah. Yeah. In that situation, it was like, we ain't fucking around.
Yeah.
Like this is, we are dealing with this. And
this is live or die time.
Well, and we had a point where we were, because again, there was some compliance things we had to implement very quickly. And one of our key developer, Ovidio, the guy that you talked to when we were doing the integration with you, his kind of partner in arms is Adrian. And they're the two heads of engineering.
Yeah.
and they've been with us forever. But Ovidio has been there since day one, practically. And like Adi was on holiday, and he was like sitting in the back of his car in Greece or in like driving down through wherever, sitting in the back of his car, building, trying to get this code done to build some, bits of this compliance stuff that we're building. And it was like all hands on deck. It was tough, but it was more the failure afterwards. I guess it was the failure of really just not seeing where everybody was.
Yeah.
And not being attuned to it. And that was a personal failure.
Have you done anything with that lesson?
Oh yeah. From every walk of life, it's so easy to be, I would like to think I'm relatively self-reflective. I look at myself all the time of, am I acting or reacting in the right ways? Like, is my reaction here appropriate?
Yeah.
But that was, am I listening? Am I hearing the things I need to hear or the things I want to hear? I try and reflect on that on ongoing basis.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. I have one more question, 2 more questions. Before I ask those questions, you want to hear an embarrassing story?
Love it.
So I love that you are talking to your customers, right? It's absolutely paramount. You got to listen to what the customers are saying because that helps guide the direction of our products and features and everything else. So Vappy is the AI tool. I shared that with you.
Yeah.
It's what we're using to go connect from AI to actual phone system to communications with using our AI bot, all that. So I get an email from Vappy. Like, hey, we'd like to talk to our customers. You're a power user. I'd like to get your perspective and this and that, right? So I jump on the call. I talk to, one of the engineers. I'm talking to the guy, and he's dropping F-bombs. It's like, okay, that's interesting, Like, I'm not judging. Everyone's got different cultures. But the way you're kind of talking casually.
You sure you weren't talking to me?
Yeah, I was like, the way he's talking to me, he sounds more like a founder than he is an engineer. So I asked him, like, hey, like, just give me the speed. Like, what role do you serve with this company? He's like, oh, I'm in charge of product development. So I just want to make sure, we talk to customers. I'm one of the engineers here. I was like, okay. I was like, I accepted that answer, right? Turns out later on, I looked him up later on, co-founder. Like, they just raised like $40 million for their business. Co-founder. So he asked me, do you have any other questions? And again, I'm thinking I'm talking to an engineer. I said, hey, look, the reality of the matter is, like, you're a big part of our tool. If you go down, this is a problem for me. And I need to plan accordingly. I need to know, like, what are my backup options, which we're now investigating backup options in case they go down, right? But, seeing how they just raised $40 million, they're not going to go down. But I asked them, like, how do I know you're still going to be around in December? And he's like, well, I hope we're still around in December. It'd be like if I asked you, well, Jordan, how do I know you're still going to be around next year? What would you say to that question?
What did I say?
What would you say right now?
Easily. We're bootstrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, we built this company by ourselves, and, and ain't nothing taking us down externally.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when I asked him that question, it's like, I didn't know I was talking to the founder. So I was embarrassed looking at that.
Yeah, but that's it. You do raise an interesting point with that, though. One of my, right now we're in the glut of AI tools area, right? This is going to whittle down.
Oh, yeah.
It has to. There's, you can't shake a stick. Like, you can't throw a stick, right now without hitting 10 new AI companies that have just generated up. And they're all getting funding. That ledge is coming.
Yes.
Because there's only so much space.
It's going to be a little bit of a .com.
A .com bust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean AI is going away. AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
AI was a transformational shift. Have you ever read the book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions?
I have not.
By T.S. Kuhn? It's a great book. One of the things he talks about there is this notion of paradigm shifts, where when the rules just change and you never go back. Like, you're here now. .com bust happened, but the internet
still here.
Was here to stay. The rules had changed. AI is another paradigm shift. It's here, and it's here. We've shifted.
Yeah.
That said, there are 50 billion tools going on here, and everybody's building their own and all that.
Vibe coding, all that fun stuff.
Vibe coding them, yeah, your own. And to your point, one of the questions you have when you start to integrate with these tools is, well, how do I know you're going to be here?
Mhm.
Because the truth of the matter is, for all of you, like, okay, Twilio, bandwidth, those telecom ones, they're probably going to be here.
Mhm.
But how do I know when all these, Deepgrams over here and Vappies over here and all these tools, how do I know they're all going to exist? Well, you know what? In a year, I'll bet you 60% of them will be gone.
Right. Absolutely.
We
And
are at that wall, but that doesn't mean AI is going. It just means we're going to get a consolidation
Mhm.
of tools that are going to be here for the long run.
Yeah. So, but yeah, going back to like you have those conversations. I appreciate that he was having that conversation as a co-founder. Last question, or sorry, second to last question. What book have you gifted more than any other?
Well, this sadly not not a business book. The Elements of Style by William Strunk.
that book
It's
about?
about writing. It's about
Okay.
communication. It's the Elements of Style. I read it when I was in my undergrad. I was referred to it,
Mhm.
and it like genuinely, I've gifted that book so often to people because people don't understand how to write
Mhm.
in a compelling and concise manner.
Yeah.
And then from a business book point of view, because I'm not really a business book guy,
Mhm.
I read some of them, but you got people who I read a ton,
Mhm.
but I read histories and biographies and novels. I don't tend to read a lot of business books. That said, I think the Lencioni books, as you're building an executive team
Mhm.
and as you're scaling an executive team, I don't think you can't really do better than the Lencioni books.
Mhm.
And a book also called The Gap and the Gain.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. Gap in the Game is awesome. It's Dan Sullivan. And then, like The Advantage, The 5 Dysfunctions of the Team, and more recently, Working Genius. I won't hire anybody anymore without going through Working Genius first. I need to know, like, you love to do what I need this role to accomplish. And then the last question, and this is definitely selfish for myself. We've got a customer service person joining on Tuesday. Any books you can recommend? So we're going to have her read Delivering Happiness as well as How to Never Lose a Customer Again. Can you think of any other books I should have her read?
Oh man. Oh, that's putting me on the spot because I really can't right now. I don't think I've ever really read that many customer service books.
Yeah. It's
embarrassing.
not like the funnest topic in the world.
No. This may be, and I'm gonna have to think later. But
All
I think I failed on this
You
one.
got to phone a friend?
Yeah, I may have to phone him. Yeah, I think I failed on this one.
It's all good. All right. So, guys, if you guys get value here, please subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Right now, we're talking about building a company from an idea to 10 million. If you got someone that's aspirational, trying to build a business, definitely send this to them. What are some last thoughts you want to leave everybody with?
Well, I mean, fundamentally, one of the challenge of talking about building businesses, and I know you're on the mission to create.
100 million.
People get focused on the numbers very easily,
Mm-hmm.
and so they think $1 million or 10 million, or in software, when you're talking, they get them 40 million, and we want to exit for 400 million, all that. The prize is great, but I think my least favorite trend that's happening right now
Mhm.
is this sort of hyper bro culture. I'm gonna get up at 4 and I'm gonna eat raw liver and go to the gym for 5 hours, and I'm gonna hustle, and I'm not gonna see my kids because that's too this kind of hyper. I'm gonna and this idea of sort of I'm gonna work 23 hours a day, not 22.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna sacrifice. I'm not gonna go have a holiday for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all in pursuit of this prize. And I always call people like, it's I'm gonna be happy when.
Mm-hmm.
If you live your life by I'm gonna be happy when, that when is never gonna come.
Yeah.
And so, my only thing is, when you're thinking of building a business, is an amazing way of creating a vehicle to give your family and wealth for life. Of course it is, but you can't sacrifice your life now.
Yeah.
And so you have to be focused on building something which is going to bring you value now as well. And value isn't just money.
Right.
It's freedom, happiness. It's it's living your best life now. And that's my one sort of key thing for me when I talk to people about scaling a business, because so many people are just like, they want to know about the number.
Mhm.
Well, okay, but it's the quality of life that matters to me.
Yeah. Oh, it's important. It's a great reminder. If someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably the best way is on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
sadly, because I'm not the huge Instagram or any of that. I am on Instagram, I think, but LinkedIn's easy, or just hop over to smartphone.io. But LinkedIn, I'm there. I'm happy to talk to anybody. Happy to chat to anybody. My email is jordan@smartphone.io as well. I'm happy to connect.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Shout out to Steve Train. Jump on the Steve Train. Disruptors.